Let's review the current climate.
Federally, extremist pro-abortion policies are dismantling pro-life protections.
Statewide, abortion facilities receive support and praise, while other services face shutdowns and restrictions.
On social media, pro-life organizations are censored and attacked.
On campuses, pro-life students are silenced and mocked.
These images are discouraging at best, especially if you don't have the full picture.
Across Michigan, an army of courageous and sacrificial young people is standing up against impossible odds. They're defying the culture and defending the vulnerable.
They are not charmed by pro-choice rhetoric, nor will they settle for human rights being granted to only some humans.
They are using their voices to say, enough is enough. We will not accept abortion.
They're exposing their peers to the reality of abortion and compassionately changing pro-choice hearts, one person at a time.
At Protect Life Michigan, we are not afraid of pro-abortion giants or political powers.
We created a vision to make abortion unthinkable, knowing the sacrifices required, and still, we stand committed. If abortion doesn't stop,
If abortion doesn't stop,
Neither
do we.
We're not just dreaming of a pro-life culture, we're making one.
Good evening, and welcome to Protect Life Michigan's 6th annual benefit dinner, which looks a little different this year because we're coming to you live via webcast from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm Kristen Polo, the Executive Director of Protect Life Michigan, and I'll be your host this evening. I'm so excited that you have joined us to uncover the revolutionary strategy that we're using to systematically dismantle the abortion industry and to discover what you can do to help fuel the momentum needed to end abortion. To help us do that tonight, I've invited my good friend and mentor, David B Wright. David is an author, he is an exceptional pro-life leader, and you probably know him best as the founder and former CEO of 40 Days for Life, an incredible pro-life organization that has saved thousands of babies all over the world through peaceful prayer in front of abortion clinics. David, thank you so much for joining us here in Grand Rapids.
Kristen, I have been looking forward to this ever since you first asked me, and originally it was going to be in person, then it was going to be virtual, whatever, it doesn't matter. We have an opportunity to come together to celebrate the amazing work and the amazing impact of this organization, and I've known you for more than 10 years now, and to watch this organization become a powerhouse, and your leadership has been amazing. I can't even begin to explain how excited I am for tonight. So. It's gonna be great.
Yes, tonight we're going to discover how a group of young people right here in Michigan is fighting back against the pro-abortion agenda. We're going to show you the truth about how the abortion industry is infiltrating high schools and what we're doing to stop them in their tracks. And then, of course, we're going to show you what you can do to help stop this injustice. So, David, are you excited for what's ahead tonight?
Well, I'm excited not only for what we're going to experience, but what you're going to experience, because by the time we're done with this event, you're going to experience some transformation, and I'm very serious about that. You're going to be encouraged, you're going to be filled with hope, because you're about to learn how the pro-life movement is actually winning. Yes, right now, winning in Michigan, and you're going to discover the critical role that you can play in helping to end abortion here in your state and to help impact the rest of the nation. And no, you don't have to quit your day job. No, you don't have to spend the rest of your life on college campuses or high school campuses, but you can make a profound life-saving difference, and that's what we're going to experience through our time together. So to say I'm excited is an understatement. Now, Kristen, I want to get us started by having a little conversation, because I know we've got some people here who have been longtime friends and supporters of Protect Life Michigan, and there are others who they've invited who are here for the very first time, and they're here with us virtually, and they're saying, what is this organization all about? So can you, for those who are new, can you take us back and give us a little bit of the origin story of how did Protect Life Michigan first get started?
Absolutely. So back in 2005, this organization started long before I came to Protect Life Michigan. The pro-life movement back then was really strong. It always has been in Michigan, but it really lacked a coordinated effort to reach and change the hearts of young people. And so a brave group of students from all over the state gathered together to really form a coalition of young people who could be more strategic about bringing the pro-life message to their campuses. This was in 2005, and since then, that coalition has continued to grow and to expand, and today, we're on nearly every university's campus in the state. We're in almost 30 high schools, and we even work with young professionals to make sure that they have the opportunity to stay involved after they graduate.
So from this humble beginning to this coalition and this spreading the influence across the state, what does Protect Life Michigan actually do to carry out its mission?
Yeah, simply put, we bring the pro-life message to Michigan's high school and college students. But let me tell you why that's so important. Young people today are really wrestling with their worldview. They're being bombarded from all directions with the message that abortion is no big deal. In fact, even that it's empowering. They're hearing this from their teachers, from their professors, from politicians, on television and in movies. As scary as it sounds, Planned Parenthood is even in their schools giving presentations and targeting the cell phones of 13-year-olds with abortion advertisements. And as they wrestle with all of this messaging, we just want to make sure that the other side is heard. We want them to hear the truth. We want them to see the reality of abortion so that they can know the injustice that it is against men and women and, of course, unborn children. We want them to hear the evidence for why the pro-life position is true, which is something they're not hearing from anyone else. In fact, we're one of the few organizations in the nation that is doing this work specifically with young people. And so we feel a great responsibility and an urgency to do this work, because without us, it's possible that many of the students in these schools wouldn't hear the pro-life message at all.
Now, you promised that we would learn this revolutionary strategy that is, what were the words, systematically dismantling the abortion industry, which I love that. Tell us a little bit more about this strategy, because I'm watching it, I'm seeing it in action, and I'm so excited for everybody else to learn about it.
Yes, I'm letting everyone in on our secret tonight.
The secret sauce.
Which I'm happy to do, because we want everyone to adopt this strategy as well. So in every activity that we do, everything that we do at Protect Life Michigan, there have been two questions that have helped us form our strategy. And these questions we ask before we do anything. Question one is, does this activity reach people? And question two is, does it change minds? Because we don't want to waste time doing things that no one's going to see, and we don't want to stir up controversy for the sake of stirring up controversy. What we're trying to do is present a case against abortion that is so persuasive that even the most radically pro-choice person can't help but interact with it, have this magnetic attraction to our message. I could give you so many stories of how this is working, how this strategy is playing out, but I'll just tell you one quick story. Sure. At a conference that Planned Parenthood, our nation's largest abortion provider, recently held in Lansing, Michigan, one of the top concerns shared by their student outreach branch was us at Protect Life Michigan.
Yes.
They actually spent time talking about how they feel like they're helpless against this strategy, and like they can't win students back to the pro-life position after we reach them with our message. So that's great news. And to me, that tells me that if we can just reach every student in the state, we can help them understand the magnitude of the injustice of abortion. We can help teach them how to respond both in courage and in love. And we can dismantle the abortion industry by cutting off their most valuable resource, which is the hearts and the minds of young people.
And I know that this is not untested theory, that you're actually seeing remarkable results from this strategy. Can you share some of those results?
Absolutely. So I want everyone to take a look at some of our statistics from just this school year, which isn't over yet. We still have a couple months left, especially in the high schools. All of this happened in a pandemic, and there's a few numbers that I want to highlight. The first is that we have reached over 136,000 people with the reality of abortion. We've changed 261 pro-choice hearts to become pro-life through conversations we've had. That's a change rate of about 1 pro-choice heart per hour of outreach. Our training at our attendance at our trainings was 4,932 students. We recruited 487 students to get involved on campus, all during a pandemic. And David, we also have an outreach to pregnant students called Project Rosie, which I don't have a lot of time to talk about tonight, but if you go to projectrosie.com, you can learn more. Through that outreach, we also supported over 50 young pregnant women, and many of them chose life because of the support that we were able to give them. So these numbers are great, but they really don't tell the full story. For example, numbers can't paint a picture of a college student who's pro-choice, has a conversation with us, changes his mind, and then a few months later finds out his girlfriend is pregnant and is able to advocate for the life of his child because of that conversation and that heart change. It also can't show the courage that high schoolers are displaying even when faced with backlash from their entire school for sharing the pro-life message. In fact, that is a real story that I would like to share with everyone tonight. We have a quick 2-minute video from our high school coordinator, Rebecca Punches, who is doing an amazing job with these 30 high schools in the state. And I want to share this story with you so that you can see the courage and the bravery of these high school students. So let's watch that now.
2 years ago, a small group of students decided to start a pro-life club at a public school in Forest Hills, Michigan. These students decided that their first initiative would be to simply start a social media account in hopes of reaching their peers with the pro-life message. What they thought was going to be a simple undertaking blew up into way more than what they expected. Within hours, they were faced with hundreds of hateful and disgusting comments on their social media page from students and from parents alike. What would have made most of us run away in fear invigorated this small group of students and made them even more determined to bring the message of life into the culture of death at their school. After what they faced on social media, they connected with other pro-life clubs and with Protect Life Michigan to say, we need help, this is what's going on at our school, and we want to find a way to reach our peers with the pro-life message. So over the next months, we worked with these students, we mentored them, they came for a Life Advocate Intensive, and we watched this small group of students who wanted to make an impact go from being discouraged and confused to being one of the most effective clubs that we work with today. In fact, one of their students, her name is Desiree, joined us this past January at the statewide March for Life, and not only was she there as a participant, but she gave the final speech to the entire pro-life movement in Michigan and gave us our marching orders before we started on the walk. After receiving training, mentorship, and boots on the ground outreach experience through Protect Life Michigan, these students were transformed into this effective pro-life club on their campus. Over the next year, we will be expanding our high school and young professionals for life programs to reach more people. We'll be adapting our campus model so that we can even more effectively serve both secular and Christian campuses. We'll have more boots on the ground at colleges and high schools across the state. These initiatives are to ensure that no student ever has to face this hostile culture alone.
I love that. Don't you love that, David?
Amen.
I am so encouraged by these students. And when I see them willing to sacrifice comfort and popularity, it makes me ask myself, how much more can I do? How much more can I sacrifice?
And I believe that Rebecca gave us a little bit of a sneak preview of the big announcement for tonight. So can you tell us more about that?
She did, yes. We have so many exciting things in store. For those of you who know Protect Life Michigan, you know we're always up to something. So there are many things I could tell you about that are new for this year, but I'm going to focus in on 3 since I know it's a busy night for everyone. First, we know the strategy that we're using is working. So tonight we are pledging to expand our high school, college, and young professional outreaches so that we can continue to reach more people in more schools around the state. We know that Planned Parenthood's efforts fail when they meet students who are serious about sharing the reality of abortion, and so we're pledging to continue to expand the efforts to train more of those students. In that same vein, our second announcement is that we are launching a new program to train pro-life leaders specifically in Christian colleges. David, at Christian schools, we are kind of at the next level. A lot of the students are already pro-life, so we can take it to the next step by training them to become lifelong advocates in the pro-life cause. So we've been piloting a new fellowship at Hillsdale College, which is full of amazing students, and we've seen amazing results. So we're going to be launching a new fellowship at more Christian schools this fall. And the third announcement is that this summer, we are launching a summer internship for high school and college students. We want to bring them in for the most intensive training we have ever put together. 6 weeks, they'll be learning from some incredible pro-life leaders from all over the nation so that we can really build agents of change, and by fall, send them back into their schools, into their churches, and even into their careers so that they can be pro-life advocates in those spaces. So, like I said, the strategy is working, and these are some of the new ways that we're going to leverage that in the coming year.
Well, I hope that you watching right now, I hope you understand that you have a winning, proven strategy and an organization that has already demonstrated that they can get results. You have the opportunity to be a part of this, to help this mission to expand, to do these 3 important steps to carry this strategy forward. But Kristen, let's be really honest. To do this, it's going to take all of us helping. So what needs does Protect Life Michigan have, and what can each of us do to actually help this become reality?
Yeah, the reality is that we can't do this alone. I think the days of pro-lifers sitting on the sidelines and leaving the hard work to the pros is over. There's too much on the line, and we're at a pivotal moment in history where we need everyone on board. I've recently spoken to a lot of you who are watching here tonight, and you've shared that you feel very discouraged about protecting life in the climate and in the culture that we're in, and I totally get that. Our culture is a mess. We have anti-life politicians in DC and right here in Michigan who are day in and day out fighting against the pro-life values that we hold. And then you add in coronavirus and you have a recipe for major discouragement. But what I want everyone to know is that it is possible to save lives even in a hostile climate like the one we're in, and that people should really have hope. You know, you might be watching here tonight and you might not be able to be on campus all day like we are, but you can still talk to friends and family. You can still change minds. You can invest in us so that we can spend more time on campus. In fact, if we're going to continue to fight back and even expand our efforts, we need to raise $65,000 between tonight and May 4th. And in just a few minutes, we have a surprise announcement that's going to allow us to double our impact. But before we get to that, I want to switch gears, David, and I want to put you in the hot seat for a few minutes. It's my turn to interview you. We brought you all the way here to Grand Rapids from Virginia.
Yes.
And a lot of people know you from the work you did with 40 Days for Life, but I know you well enough to know that you got into the pro-life movement very reluctantly. So the first question I want to ask you is, how did you get involved in pro-life work? What led you to where you are today?
Oh my goodness, what a story. I guess it's kind of a story from helplessness to being hopeful, and a story of from reluctance to seeing results. And really, it all happened when the news broke in the town where I lived, College Station, Texas, that an abortion facility was open. And it was going to be a Planned Parenthood abortion center, of course, the largest abortion chain, as you mentioned, in the nation. And keep in mind the context. I had grown up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I knew nothing about the pro-life movement. I knew nothing about abortion. I went to church every Sunday. It was never preached in our church. It was never discussed in my home. So it was just off my radar. But when news broke in that town in Texas where I had gone to school at Texas A&M University that children were going to start dying, that women were going to be wounded, that abortion was going to happen, I had to look in the mirror and say, What am I going to do? And I felt helpless. What can I do? I'm just one person. I don't have any skills. I don't have any talents. I don't even know what this issue is all about. But my wife dragged me to a meeting that was held at a local church, and it was the St. Mary's Catholic Church across the street from the Texas A&M campus. And the church secretary there, a young woman named Lauren, had called a meeting of a handful of people to talk about what can we do to try to stop this development, this facility that's announced that's going to open. And my wife said, David, we need to go. As Christians, we believe that God knit us together in a mother's womb in His image and likeness. These are precious children that are at risk, women who are at risk. We need to go to this meeting. And I didn't want to go. I was very reluctant, but anybody who's married, you know that our wives can be very convincing. And so I went to the meeting. And we got to the church that night, and there were 400 people from dozens of congregations that were packed into the church. And Margaret wanted to sit right up in the front row and get involved, and I wanted to sit in the back so I could get out. I was that serious about wanting to run away from this. She ended up convincing me. We sat close to the front. And the whole time I'm looking around this room at these hundreds of people who'd come out saying, I want to do something. I want to help save lives. I want to help women. And I thought, I have no skills. I have nothing that I can offer. But that night, God put a conviction on my heart, just quiet conviction that I had some role, something I was supposed to do. And so we began to take little baby steps. Margaret and I began to volunteer with the group that was formed to try to stop the Planned Parenthood from opening. And regrettably, we were unsuccessful at stopping it. And as that facility was being built, we began to go out and pray at the site where that facility was growing out of the ground and realizing women are going to be wounded here, children are going to die here. And it just became more and more of a conviction. And even though I still felt helpless, not knowing what to do, we just said, let's take baby step after baby step. And it was through that effort, that group, unfortunately, was unable to stop Planned Parenthood from opening. They opened, they began to spill the blood of innocent children, and we began to hear the stories of women who had gone there thinking they were going to get a solution to a problem, and instead they were wounded physically, emotionally, spiritually. And we realized we've got to do more. And so one day I was working at the time as a drug dealer, but it was a legal drug dealer. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And I was calling on doctors in a town about 30 miles north of where I lived. And the young church secretary had started this organization. She called me and she said, David, I just wanted to let you know the Planned Parenthood facility today did 10 more abortions. And it broke my heart. And I just said, maybe I'm supposed to just quit my job and just do everything I can to try to stop this. Now, keep in mind, Kristen, I was just talking. I wasn't serious. But Lauren, on the other end of the phone, she said, well, David, maybe you should do that. And all of a sudden, there was this pressure, this tension. What am I going to do? So I went home, and I talked to my wife, and I knew she would talk me out of it. Of course, she would never want to go for this. And she said to me, David, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. We've been richly blessed, and if there's something we can do to help, we need to help. And so 2 weeks from that day, I quit my job to take the lead of that little organization, the Coalition for Life. And I wish I could tell you everything went great. You know, I went from helpless to I was hopeful, but now still, you know, I was still reluctant. What do we do? And we hadn't seen any results. And so we put in a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy into that effort. And a year later, abortions dropped by 2%, just 2. And at first I was discouraged, but then I realized that 2% represented children that were alive because the body of Christ had come together to do something. I realized that was women who'd been spared a lifetime of regrets. So that community put in more time, more energy, more money, and that year abortions went down by 15%, and the next year by 28%. And we started to see this momentum, but then we hit this brick wall. We had seen results, but people got tired. They got discouraged, kind of like we all feel right now, right after elections, and we feel discouraged in the midst of COVID. And people were just saying, I'm tired, I don't know if we can keep going. And so out of desperation, we said, how do we break through this? And we didn't know. A group of us in our little pro-life office got together and we said, we don't know, we got to pray and ask God to show us. And through 1 hour of prayer around the wooden table in that little pro-life office, God put on our hearts this vision of doing something for the 40-day time frame. We know as Christians, that's a very spiritually significant time frame God uses to bring about transformation in the world and to test faithfulness, right? So we said, maybe we're supposed to do something for 40 days, but we felt convicted to do 3 things. A strategy, just like what you've shared, 3 things. Number 1, as people of faith, to pray and fast, because we know with God, all things are possible. I can do all things through Him. I can't do it on my own. We can't end abortion on our own, but with God, we can. Number 2, after prayer and fasting, though, was peaceful vigil, to go outside of that place where lives were being lost and to have a peaceful prayer vigil outside. And then number 3 was community outreach, just like what you're doing on high school and college campuses, taking the pro-life message effectively to people and inviting them to be a part of the solution. So we finished the hour of prayer and we'd gotten this clarion call. But then we had to decide, would we take our faith and put it into action? Would we launch this thing that God had put on our hearts? And we decided to because we realized if we didn't, children would die, women would be wounded. And so we launched the first 40 Days for Life campaign. We had no idea what God had in store. Over 1,000 people participated, and that year abortions dropped another 28%, sparing over 100 children and 100 mothers from abortion. And from there, it began to spread to other cities, and then we organized it as a national effort, an international effort. And today, 40 Days for Life has spread to dozens and dozens of nations, all 50 states, hundreds of cities. Tens of thousands of lives have been saved because people put their faith into action, because people went from helpless to hopeful. They went from reluctance to doing something that would get results. How did I get involved? By taking the exact same steps we're asking everybody to take with us tonight.
That's amazing. And David, why do you think now is such a crucial time for us to be active in pro-life efforts? Why now?
Yeah. First and foremost, it's because there's a mother who is right now pregnant, who's scared, and in the midst of COVID, financial challenges, everything else, she is more at risk of being pressured into an abortion decision than ever before, and the child within her womb is at risk of death more than ever before. If ever there were a time that we as people of faith and conscience need to take that faith and put it into action for that mother, for that child, that time is right now. And we could sit back and be discouraged about election results and politicians and legislation and all of that. You know what? We don't have the luxury of that. That mother doesn't have the luxury of that. That child at risk doesn't have the luxury of that. We have to act. And frankly, it's in times when things in Washington, D.C., instead of trusting on the President of the United States or Congress to solve this for us, it's on us. We have to save lives where they're at the greatest risk, which is in our towns. It's on our high school and college campuses. That's where lives are at risk. So if ever there were a time we need to put that faith into action and where we need to do it, it's right here in Michigan, right in the community where each of us live. Mm-hmm. And so we have to put that faith into action. But the last thing about why now is because the realization that when you look back at the history of the pro-life movement, some of the greatest breakthroughs that have happened in the most hostile political climates. The biggest growth and impact of 40 Days for Life happened during the Obama administration. The very pro-abortion administration there, that was when so many people said, I'm not waiting on Washington, D.C., I'm going to take action, I'm going to do something. Hundreds of thousands of people got involved. Thousands of lives were saved. People saw abortion clinics close, and we saw workers like Abby Johnson leaving the abortion industry. It's because during these times, people realize it's not going to be a politician solving this. The solution to this isn't going to fly in on Air Force One. It's not going to be somebody down in Lansing. It's going to be me doing something right where I live to meet the need of that mother and that child. And that's what each of us need to recognize right now and find the way to use our gifts, our talents to meet this need at this moment.
You've definitely made the case for why now, but I think the next question is how? How can each of us make our greatest life-saving impact? Mm-hmm. That's my next question.
I would go back to where I started. You need to go from helpless to hopeful. You need to go from reluctance to saying, what can I do that can get proven results? And you need to put your faith into action. That's what each of us need to do. And if we do that one person at a time, that's where we're going to transform our communities. That's where we're going to save lives. That's where we're going to protect mothers and help them avoid lives of regret. So for me, the best way that people can do it is get involved with Protect Life Michigan. I've watched this organization grow from its very beginning. I remember when you were first crafting your mission statement and watching it just explode in impact. If you want to make a life-saving impact in Michigan, this is the organization that has the strategy, has the results, has the proven plan, and you just need to find your place. And then say, where can I invest my time? Where can I invest my talent? And yes, tonight, where can I invest my treasure into this work? This organization with a mission to recruit, to equip, to network students, and to form the next generation of pro-life leaders. I'm so moved by, on the website, if you get a chance, not right now, you're watching the event, but go to protectlifemi.org and read about the vision, read about the mission, read about the programs. But I was so touched by the core values. The core values of this organization, number one, sacrificial service. This isn't about Kristen and her team, and they're not on an ego trip. This is about how can each of us die to self? How can we look at somebody else and say, how can I serve and help you in a time of need? inspire conviction. Isn't that what we're doing tonight? We all have the opportunity to inspire each other to be courageous, to have conviction, but to do our work with compassion, to invest in leaders. This is the premier organization informing young pro-life leaders at the state level, not only in the nation, that I've seen in my travels to 600 cities around the world. This is cutting edge. The future of the pro-life movement is right here. Really not the future. The now of the pro-life movement is the leaders who are being developed here. Fostering innovation. This is an organization that's doing the same thing it was doing 30 years ago. It didn't exist 30 years ago. And the team here is actually saying, how do we bring constant change? How do we reach more people? How do we save more lives and collaboration? This isn't some isolated silo. This is an organization that brings people, brings leaders together to achieve greater results. So for each of us to say, if those are my core values, do I want to see mothers protected? Do I want to see children's lives spared? Do I want to see abortion end in Michigan? Then get involved with Protect Life Michigan. This is the organization that when the history books are written and people are looking back and saying, how did abortion end in Michigan? Yes, it will talk about the legislative and the political groups, certainly, but it's going to talk about this new generation that changed the culture, the generation formed by Protect Life Michigan. And that really, if I can, just shift into the invitation that we all have now, because if this is the urgency of the moment that we have right now, if we recognize mothers are at risk, children at risk, if we understand that we can shift, we can have an attitude shift from helplessness to hopefulness, if we're willing to put our faith into action, if we're willing to say, yes, I'm reluctant, I'm scared, but you know what? I can do it anyway. I can do something and move towards achieving results. We can shift the culture. We can save more lives than ever before. We saw the strategy laid out right up here on the screen. You saw it on your screen at home. This is the strategy. This is the path. We have an opportunity tonight, not only through the time and talent, you may find ways to invest your time and talent in this organization, but also to invest our treasure into this critical mission. And the huge announcement you alluded to earlier, I get to share it. I get to share the exciting announcement. The exciting announcement is that a group of donors who know and love and trust Protect Life Michigan, they rallied together and they said, how can we make our greatest impact to help this mission advance, accelerate, expand? And they came together and put a matching challenge grant together in the amount of $65,000. $65,000. That means every gift that you make tonight, right here, during this webcast, will be doubled, dollar for dollar, up to $65,000. If you make a $30,000 gift, that becomes $60,000. Okay, maybe you can't make a $30,000 gift. $1,000 becomes $2,000. $2,500 becomes $5,000, $1,000, $50, whatever the amount, it becomes doubled. But also, in addition to that deadline for that is May 4th, by the way. So that's tonight, but also through May 4th. So that's about 10 days. It's Tuesday, May 4th. So every gift you make tonight, one-time gift. But the second thing is every monthly pledge that you make will be annualized, multiplied by 12, and then that will be doubled by the matching challenge. So if you made a $100 matching monthly pledge tonight, that becomes $1,200. That becomes $2,400 doubled by the matching challenge because you made that pledge of support tonight. And so I know, Kristen, you and I have talked a lot about this. I know a lot of the inside baseball about your organization, and it makes it even more exciting because I know under the hood it's even better than what people can see outside. It's like you've got this very nice car, but inside it's a Ferrari engine, right? That's the inside of the car. So the thing I know is you've got a lot of people who've been incredibly faithful monthly supporters of this mission. And for those of you, if you're a monthly supporter, thank you. You have no idea how much you at times have literally been an answer to prayer. Yes. Because you help to sustain. The one-time gifts at an event like this are a huge shot in the arm, don't get me wrong. But literally, where you help to build a budget, where you can help them plan a strategy and expand it, is through the monthly pledges. Each of us, through our monthly commitments, and thank you for those who have done that. And maybe tonight, if you're a monthly supporter, maybe God's going to put on your heart to increase your pledge of monthly support. Maybe something you've heard, the strategy, the plan, the opportunities to realize this organization was innovative and pivoted during COVID and is having even greater impact. And as campuses are reopening, they're going to even continue to scale and have greater impact than that. Maybe tonight you feel led to invest a larger monthly pledge, whatever the amount. No amount is too small. That's fair to say. And I want everybody, wherever you're at, feel free to come in wherever you can. Is it okay for me to say that no gift is too large? Is that all right to say that?
I think that's okay,
all right.
Yeah.
So again, $30,000 gift becomes $60,000, whatever amount. And so what I'd like to do right now is kind of walk you through the process of exactly how you can do this. So I know we've got some, you're at a watch party right now and you're saying, I'm so excited, everybody around me is so excited, what can I do? And I'm going to walk you through that. But also I know we have some who are watching us online, maybe with your family or maybe you're by yourself. So I'm going to walk through both of those scenarios, give everybody the option to know exactly how you can make your one-time gift, have it doubled, dollar for dollar by the matching challenge, and make your pledge of ongoing monthly support, have that annualized and doubled up to $65,000. Okay. So first, let me start with those who are at a watch party, because I'm going to have to give a few specific instructions for those watching online. So if you're at a watch party right now, first of all, are you having fun? Are you having a great night? Are you enjoying this? Did you have some good food? I mean, we literally have water in our mugs. You get some real food by being at a watch party, I hope. If they didn't give you food, then maybe afterwards you can go out and get a McDonald's hamburger on the way home. So whatever the case may be. So you, sorry, I'm getting off track here. So for you, your watch party host is going to hand around cards. And these cards are going to give you first the opportunity to make a one-time gift here. Tax-deductible one-time gift to Protect Life Michigan. And so whether it's $500, $1,000, $2,500, again, remembering that will be doubled. And then secondarily, they will also pass around, and I'll give instructions for that, a second card, which is for you to make a pledge of ongoing monthly support. It's not one or the other, it's both and, if you're able to do that. The one-time gifts that are a huge shot in the arm right now to help enact this strategic expansion, and then the monthly pledges that help them build the momentum and continue to save lives throughout the year. So those cards should be passed around. You can begin to fill out your information, and we're going to actually, if it's okay, I'd like us to pray for those who are people of faith. We're going to pray over the responses before you actually fill out the amount. So hold that for just a minute. Now, for those watching us online, you've got two scenarios of how you can give. And if you're at a watch party, you also can do the second of these scenarios as well. So if you're watching online, down below the video, and I've got the page pulled up right here on my little iPad, down below the video, there's a donate button, a green button. If you click that, it actually opens up the donation form. So you can start to fill out that form, but don't submit it yet because I'm going to warn you about something that will just be unexpected otherwise, okay? So the donate button there. So on that donate button, when you open it, it expands out, and as I look down it, the first thing it says, contact me about increasing my monthly donation. So if you are a monthly donor and you wish to do that, they can follow up with you about that. And then it has various different donation amounts. You can either choose the $5,000, $2,500, $1,000, or you can check other amount and put your amount in. If you want that for your one-time gift, then don't check the little box that says, make my donation monthly recurring. You'll do that on your second response, which is the response to the monthly pledge. Then you can add the little 3% to cover the credit card fee, so that doesn't come out of Protect Life Michigan's budget, that you can help offset that. You fill in your information, your credit card number, or you can send in a check. It shows you how to do that through your checking account. You fill in your information, and when you're done, don't do it yet, you can hit submit. Don't do it yet. So fill out your information, but let me tell you about the second way that you can give if you choose, and also for everybody at the watch party, they could do this exact same thing. If you have a mobile device, a phone, a tablet, you can actually set up a text donation. So here's how to do it. There's a number on the screen, and the number is 517-816-7818. So what you can do is enter that number in is what you're going to text in your text messaging app, and then whatever amount you would like to donate, you put that amount in the actual text message body. So you enter into the number, the number you're sending it to, 517-816-7818. And then if you want to donate $100, just in your text message, just type 100 and then hit send. Boom. That's how you start the process that way. So if you find that easier, feel free to do that. If you're at a watch party and you say, writing on cards, I'd rather just do it on my mobile phone, that's great. Do it whichever way is comfortable for you. So either way, if you want to do it as a text, do that. If you want to donate online, here was the warning I wanted to give you, because we actually went through this earlier. Kristen, I watched her making donations to Protect Life Michigan. I'm going to make my donation as soon as this event is over to Protect Life Michigan. We're not asking you to do something we're not willing to do ourselves. But what we found is when you go down, you fill in the information at the bottom of the page, and you hit submit. Don't do it yet. You go to a confirmation page saying, thank you, congratulations, you just made your gift. But it takes you away from the event for 5 seconds. So just be forewarned, when you see that, you think, oh no, did I lose the event? Just wait a few seconds. It should take you right back. Or there's a green button that says return to the event. Either way, you can come right back here. So I don't want you to miss, because Kristen may sing a song or do something exciting you don't want to miss. You didn't know you were going to do that, did you?
I will not be singing.
You're not going to be singing tonight. All right. That's going to be for the after party.
Okay.
We're going to do that afterwards. Okay. So again, pass the cards around. One-time gift, monthly pledge. If you're doing it online, click the donate button, fill out your information, or text to 517-816-7818. Put the amount in the message body and hit send. Now, we've gone through a lot of logistics. What I'd like to do now is, if we could, say a prayer over this, because I don't want you responding just because of what I'm asking you to do. I want you to respond based on what you feel that God is asking you to do. This is between you and Him. He is the author of life. He's the creator of every human person, and we get a chance to collaborate and work directly with Him in this mission. So let's go to Him in prayer. Heavenly Father, we love you and we thank you so much for the opportunity we have to come together in your name. We thank you for the work of Protect Life Michigan and how it has grown from just a group of a few students to this coalition, this powerhouse that even the largest abortion chain in the country is recognizing that it's thwarting their abilities to indoctrinate young people. And we give you the praise and the glory for the strategy and the mission and the determination that is helping that to happen. Dear God, bless Kristen and her staff, bless the board of directors, bless all those who volunteer and who serve this mission. And dear God, tonight we ask that you would put on each of our hearts the role that you have for us in this work, how you would like us to invest our time, our talent, and our treasure, how we can take this feeling that we might have of helplessness and turn it into being hopeful, how we can take a reluctance and turn it into results. Dear God, how we can put our faith in you into action. Speak to our hearts tonight. God, help us to know the one-time gift you would ask us to make, and to make that gift courageously. Let it reflect how big a God we serve. And tonight, dear Lord, help us to know the monthly pledge you would ask us to make, or the increase to our monthly pledge you would ask us to make, and respond with a yes. As for me and my house, we will serve you this way, dear Lord. And as we do this, and as we know that those donors who faithfully put up the matching challenge that will double all of these gifts, dear God, we know this isn't even about us. It's not about Protect Life Michigan. It's really about you. It's about what you are doing to reach mothers who are in need right now, what you are doing to save the lives of children made in your image and likeness, what you are doing to transform the culture of Michigan and provide hope to the rest of the nation. Dear God, help us to know our role, and then help us to respond courageously to that call. We ask these things in the name of our risen Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Kristen, I'm excited, and I hope everybody has already, if you haven't already, click the donate button, do the text, fill out your cards, turn them in, and I can't wait to see what the rest of 2021 and 2022 holds for Protect Life Michigan. It's going to be an exciting year.
Thank you so much, David, for being here with us and just infusing some hope back into all of us. I know I'm feeling encouraged by the time that you've spent with us today, and I'm sure everyone else is as well. So thank you. Well, we said at the beginning of this event that you would learn our unique strategy, that you would hear stories of students who are standing up and overcoming the lies of the abortion industry, and that you would learn what you could do to help fuel the momentum. And here we are, we've done just that. If you've been blessed by this webcast tonight, I hope that you will share it so that others can be blessed and can join you in making a one-time and monthly contribution to the work that we're doing while that matching challenge of $65,000 is in place until Tuesday, May 4th. I want to thank our board of directors, our staff, our volunteers, everyone who invited friends and spread the word and hosted watch parties tonight. Check out the generous sponsors who put together this matching challenge, and please support them if you can. Last but not least, I want to thank you. Thank you for carving out time for us and for this important event tonight. Thank you for standing with Protect Life Michigan to dismantle the abortion industry and bring the pro-life message to campus. I know that we may not see a lot of wins federally over the next few years, but that does not mean that hope is lost. Progress will be made right here in our own backyards, in our own state. God is at work through the efforts of millions of people who will not be dismayed by politics or elections or coronavirus or anything else. Through faithful people like you, we will continue to move forward to a future in which all lives are valued and protected. So God bless you. Thank you, and good night.